Very grateful for sponsors, Mishmar sponsored tonight by Catherine and Eric Schneider in honor of Ellie's birthday on December 10th.
Hi everyone. Hello. Judaism is all about peace, seeking peace, pursuing peace, and developing midot that help us build and maintain peaceful relationships. We are all about being respectful, being patient, and being mevater. Living in harmony with one another is one of our most prominent ideals. Yet, the Torah is teaching us in this week's Parsha, Parshat Vayishlach, that there are exceptions. There are rare occasions when we must put space between ourselves and other people. Yaakov Avinu, our forefather, with his great spiritual wisdom, understood that living in proximity to his brother Esav was a hard no. He understood that there was no room for getting too chummy with his brother. He avoided journeying with his brother or living near him because the stakes were too high. He couldn't risk being negatively influenced by a wicked person. It was just too dangerous. In the Mishnah Torah, the Rambam teaches us that we must go to extremes to avoid keeping the company of wicked individuals. In the 6th chapter of Deot, he states, quote, "A person who lives in a place where the norms of behavior are evil and inhabitants do not follow the straight path should move to a place where the people are righteous and follow the ways of the good." While it is proper to cut ourselves off from wicked and highly negative influences, I wonder if we sometimes misapply this teaching. Do we ever apply this separation mentality to people in our own lives who simply rub us the wrong way? They're not evil, they're not wicked, and they're not dangerous to be around. They simply don't like the same things as us, or have different political views, or we think they're too social, or they're too shy, or we think they're making a big deal out of the cleanliness of the apartment, which we may not think is that important. Or they have the wrong opinion about the Cowboys, which is a bit of a stretch because I think it's sort of like impossible, Thank you. Or they're motivated differently than us. Yaakov Avinu separated from Esav because he posed a massive spiritual and perhaps even a physical threat to his life. But turning our backs on a fellow Jew because we think he dresses weird or has an odd sense of humor or no sense of humor is simply sinat chinam, baseless hatred. Let us be aware of the truly negative, dangerous influences in our lives and stay clear from them if possible. But if there are people around us who aren't necessarily bad, but we just don't connect with them, then let's put forth the effort to work on becoming more patient and accepting of them. After all, as I mentioned before, Judaism is all about peace, pursuing peace, and working on our midot to build and maintain peaceful relationships. So, is there someone each one of us can think of right now who's not necessarily a bad person, but we've chosen to cut ourselves off from? Just a little bit? What small way can we reconnect with them? Not that we need to suddenly become best friends with them, but I think you guys know what I'm saying. Text them, call them, just reach out to them. If it's someone here in the yeshiva, possibly sitting here right now, just sitting with them at a meal, or at least smiling and acknowledging them when we walk past them can make such a huge difference. Peace.
In Perik Liv, in Pasuk Chaf Aleph to Pasuk Lamed, thank you, Andy. We get to see the first sport, I think, ever announced in Torah. wrestling. Yaakov wrestles with the angel. After he becomes victorious, he gets the name Yisrael. This isn't the first time we see a name change in Tanakh. First, Avram to Avraham, Sarai to Sarah. Yitzchak was not given a name change. I think it's because people call Yitzchak a perfect korban, that he never left Eretz Yisrael. Hashem never wanted him to leave, in the sense he was perfect. And as I said before, Yaakov became Yisrael. What does that mean? My interpretation is that they changed as people. In a sense, their avoda changed. Avram and Sarah were able to have children and become the foreparents of monotheism. When Yaakov was changed to Yisrael, he was able to confront Esav, take ownership as a Bechor, and have 12 worthy children to represent Bnei Yisrael. In both cases, when their name changed, their voda changed. So too, when we relate back to Yaakov fighting the Malach, we have Yaakov asks him a question, what's your name? Doesn't give an answer. Rashi says, because his name, the Malach's name would always change. The Malach's name is based off their avoda. We have the same when the 3 Malachim go visit Avram, and each of their names are based on what their purpose was in that moment. So how can we internalize this? It came up that when someone hosts a siyum, they usually put in someone's honor, someone who passed. They talk about their namesake, their Torah, and what they contributed to the world, what they left behind. And the last mitzvah in the Torah that's given is to write a Sefer Torah. I like to think of this as a literal. You know, we need a Torah to read from on Mondays, Thursdays, and Shabbos. As well as a metaphorical Torah. Whenever we learn Torah, we have our own perspectives, insights, and in a sense our own personalities involved with what we learn. And that, I sense, is our obligation to Klal Yisrael. That when we have Torah, we have our own perspectives that we can share on. When we have children, and as mentioned in Masechet Kedushin, that we get to all learn as a yeshiva, we have a responsibility to teach our children Torah. When we leave this world, we leave behind our children and Torah. If it wasn't for this important value in Bnei Israel, we wouldn't be here today. We would have been wiped out long ago by persecution and exile. So for this time you're in yeshiva, which is our really first time learning, are you going to build yourself now so that you can hold on to the things you gained here, but one day pass down to your children and follow in the ways of Yaakov? Shabbat Shalom.